I'm Batman. And I'm going to be filling in for General Lutz. You know, longtime fans might remember that General Lutz didn't have too many kind things to say about my Arkham Asylum game way back in 2009. While I, the mighty Batman, didn't have too many kind things to say either. But in the intervening time, both myself and the General have, mellowed out. We don't think the game is bad, but we don't think it's as god tier as some of its wonderful fans like to believe. I'm good friends with the Spider-Man, and I gotta say, his games of the era were just a little bit better. But don't tell him I said that. I don't want to give the webhead a swelled head. So in any event, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at Batman Arkham Asylum one more time and see if it's a little better than we once thought it was.
Damn, I'm looking good. Are you sure this is a game from '09? Arkham Asylum was developed by Rocksteady Studios and published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment in the far-off days of 2009 for the Xbox 360, the version the General reviewed back in the rockin' days of 2009, and he was using the old ass video too, the PlayStation 3 and the PC. In today's space future, we got it re-released on all modern consoles. For the Steam version, the one we're looking at today, you can download the Batman Arkham Asylum Advanced Launcher so you can play it in higher screen resolutions and other things of that nature. The game can swap between keyboard and mouse and controller on the fly, showing that once again Bethesda can't program. Arkham Asylum is a third-person brawler set in Arkham Asylum on Arkham Island. I don't remember there being an island in Gotham Bay. The game purports to be a kind of open world and kind of Metroidvania kind of thing. In reality, it's strictly linear. You can go back for Riddler trophies, but seriously, time is money, and I'll catch Nigma next time there's a duct tape convention in Gotham. Primarily, you'll just be beating the crap out of thugs all throughout the asylum. You got a bunch of moves, and you can string them together for more XP, which you can use to buy upgrades to me. It's fun enough, but really that's the entire game. That's all you do pretty much in Arkham Asylum. Every battle boils down to either beat up thugs or do something context sensitive, so hope you like seeing me beat up guys over and over again, because this is your lot. Even boss fights that look cool are just thug fests. Late game, it looks like you get to pound Poison Ivy's plant Gina. Oh, yes. However, you just get to throw a batarang, punch her a couple times, and then beat up some thugs, rinse, repeat. Real inspired.
Rocksteady, I can do more than just throw batarangs around. I can sword fight too. Remember the time I sword fought Ra's al Ghul, stripped to the waist in the desert?
Sadly, all the boss battles are really disappointing in this game, and I sadly contribute to the dumbing down of boss fights because in this game, we got the bullfight boss fight, everybody loved my game, and thus the bullfight boss fight got popularized. It's a cool concept the first time you do it, but boring the second, third, and fourth, and sometimes the game throws you 2 bull boss fights you have to fight, and it's done pretty much the same way. Then you got non-boss fights like Killer Croc, and as General Lutz once said, it's a croc. And I apologize yet again for introducing another bad gaming concept. This level is a walking simulator. You have to walk through a level collecting 30 Joker asses. Croc will pop up, you hit him with a batarang. Those things ain't free, Rinse and repeat. I really love that universe where Croc is a member of my Outsiders. Sadly, I ran over my Croc with a steamroller. I steamrolled him onto Rikers Island. There we go. 2, the game really is just rinse and repeat. We get good concepts, stretch beyond where they're fun, and to a point where they're just a bit boring. And by a bit boring, I mean really boring. Where I had the most fun was where I get to be, the world's greatest detective. To progress in the game, you will have to follow clues and navigate the levels, and Rocksteady did a great job of making this a pretty fun challenge. Until they didn't. Somewhat. As much as I love being the catalyst for change, I'm not sure this was the change we needed. Detectivision would become a super popular cheat for lazy devs and for the money men. Basically, you tap a button and my vision goes blue for some reason and everything you need to see is lit up like a bloody Christmas tree, thus ruining the immersion and making finding the clues pretty bloody easy. However, there are some challenges to be found, and in later games, Rocksteady would tone this down. We get to see some of my gadgets. I have a hack tool that lets me open doors, and you have to match the frequencies together. Not particularly inspired, but it's still fun enough. I get my claw that lets me open up inaccessible areas, and most importantly, I got my trusty grappling hook. So one of the biggest selling points of my game here are the predator areas. I get to be a dark creature of the night and stalk my foes. In reality, it's just as dull and tedious at times as the basic combat. The first few predator segments are pretty harrowing, as the enemies will at times have bullet shooters. Damn, I need to make a bat gun. Haven't been able to use that one since my Sunsoft days. Gutting nerds. Later, it gets repetitive, and only at the end does it get really harrowing again. The predator sequences are also super bloody telegraphs by the fact that they always take place in rooms with gargoyles, once again ruining the bloody immersion. Lastly, we got my freakouts. Look, in those days, I was hitting the bat brews somewhat heavily. Wendy dumped me for that bastard, and Oracle just didn't feel like it was the right time. And so I was kind of, a little more susceptible to Scarecrow's gas. And so a good part of this game has me going into a demented dream world, where the gameplay is given a good shakeup with, oh god damn it, more brawling. Oh yeah, and you gotta hold down a button to get my ass moving for some reason. General Lots complained about this back in 09, and I'm complaining about it here. Seriously, if you don't hold down run, I just move like I ate 5 pounds of the Colonel's finest. All that aside, I and the General want you to know that the game isn't that bad. While it can get a little tedious and a little boring at times, the gameplay, story, and presentation all make for a compelling experience, and hell, neither I nor the General had so much as laid eyes on Arkham Asylum for over a decade, and we both remembered much of the game, so despite its flaws, it does have staying power, and I highly recommend picking it up. Just don't expect your world to be quite as rocked as you would hope.
Really, the biggest reason why this game is, shall we say, a bit simple is, well, unfortunately, I'm at fault for this.
Just look at my 3D model. I am beautiful. I'm highly detailed and my animations are just perfection. But therein lies the problem. This model is too big and too detailed, and so we run into the issue of there being only so much the devs can do with it. Had it been much smaller and less detailed, like say Ezio Auditore from Ass Creed 2, I might have been able to do more in my game, like sword fight and parkour, or possibly do like my epic elderly counterpart in the Tim Burton verse and go Shadow of the Colossus on larger bosses and take them out that way instead of my $300 batarangs to the face. Or those gutty contextual button presses. Graphically, the rest of the game looks great and has really stood the test of time. All the characters look amazing and the level textures hold up too. And today, you can get a high-res texture pack for the PC version to make it look even better. Animations still look quite nice and nothing feels too stiff. The PC version still is a little unstable and I had a few crashes to desktop and I even got a crash at the very end of the bloody game. Musically, the game is a bit uninspired. None of the tracks really getting into memory, unlike that excellent music in the Batman NES game. See, Soups, that's why it pays to travel outside of your city. When the CEO of Sunsoft asks you to stop a little ninja problem, you do it. Otherwise, you might be smaller than a desk, just like in your game. Sound design is bittersweet. I am voiced by the only man to truly understand what Batman is supposed to sound like. The now sadly departed Kevin Conroy. Even though this game may not be as good as we would have liked, both myself and the General must commend the voice work done by Mr. Conroy as he truly brings the character of Batman to life in this game. Mark Hamill also reprises his role as the Joker and brings that character to life as well, and is in my opinion the greatest Joker. Arlene Sorkin plays the ever-annoying Harley Quinn. She does a great job as Harley Quinn, as always, and gives the character an edge that other voice actresses lack. Sadly, the other voice acting is merely middling, with Commissioner Gordon being a bit memeable since he's voiced by the guy who did those LEGO Star Wars trailers. The game story is exactly what you'd want from a game about me. Joker breaks out, and I gotta stop him. This version of me really gotta drop him off a building. I mean, drop him into the next dimension. The game does feel like a Me TAS episode in game form, with a little darker edge to it. I dropped the Joker off at Arkham only for him to escape. This version of the Joker is my foil. Glad I made sure he was flat enough to be foil. Joker here has all the Batman planning ability, and thus he has hatched a fiendish plot to take over Arkham by importing some thugs for me to be up. Sweet, my Joker never did that. And of course he lets out all the inmates to run amok, while he creates an army of roid rage bastards to take out Gotham. Oracle shows up as the voice with an internet connection and will give you all the updates you need. Sadly, the whole game just feels a little too dark and a little too serious. I can be funny, like that time I kicked P and Gwen into a killer whale enclosure. Sadly, things get a little too edgy here and there, and I feel that Arkham should have avoided villains like Zsasz. Also, who the bat knows who Zsasz is anyway? General Watts cosplays as me all the time, and he had no idea who Zsasz was. The game plays it safe with well-known villains, and it was quite smart to have the Joker as the main big bad. Sadly, we do not get a good payoff at the end though. I foil the Joker schemes once again, and he takes the roid rage fuel and bulks up into a small testicled big muscled giant of a man. And what do I get to do? Beat up some goons, and then pull Joker into the ground with my bat hook. Really? That's it? I can't beat up the Joker and throw him off a roof because he killed my parents? Dance this, busted. The ending for Arkham Asylum is just so anticlimactic. It's just another goon fest with what is effectively a QTE to defeat the Joker. At least let me depower the Joker and then have an epic boss battle with him personally. And that's the big problem with Arkham Asylum. It's got all the elements for a game as god tier as I am, but it just barely doesn't stick that landing. Like Firefly. Let's see you fly without wings. Ouch. And as such can leave the player a little cold when the game is completed. Compared to the other games at the time, Arkham Asylum was really nothing special. I mean, it had me in it, but you need more than me in it to be truly great. The General back in 2009 wanted a Batman game to be like Assassin's Creed or the Spider-Man games of the era. He wanted me to be going through Gotham and taking down side villains to finally take down the big bad guy. He wanted me to unlock even more gadgets and drive around in the Batmobile. He wanted hunters to show up and ask me Batman trivia questions or have Green Lantern to show up to give me missions. But sadly, this was not to be. For now.
Despite all its flaws, Arkham Asylum is still a perfectly adequate game. And after I had a few words with Rocksteady, they did fix all the problems that the General and I had back in 2009, and the rest of the Arkham series is pretty bloody good. It's sad that we don't have any more Batman games, but hey, we still got the webhead to keep us company. And so, I'm Batman, wishing you good Spider-Man, Web of Shadows, and good Spider-Man, Shadow Dimensions, or whatever makes you happy.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and please consider leaving a like or a comment, as the algorithm desires your soul. And I want to thank all those fans who have supported this channel, both past and present.